Hi, YouTube. So I wanted to say the craziest things that my parents have ever said to me. Okay, so let's start with my mom. Crazy, the most damaging things that have hurt my mental health because it's just cannot get out of my head because it's on repeat. It ruminates. Okay, so the first thing is when I was struggling through a really dark part of time in my life. I really needed my mom, and she was nowhere to be found because she basically didn't want to care or consider me. So she said, "Kill yourself, I don't care," which is just beyond me because I had done nothing to her to deserve that. And then she would always say in my childhood, "Does anyone want any children?" That was a staple. She'd say, we'd be at the grocery store and she'd say that. And it really hurt me because she would just be really mean about saying that, as if there was an issue with me. And it wasn't justified for her to say something awful like that because I didn't do anything wrong for her to say that in public, to say, "Does anyone want any children?" which is just ridiculous. And then she's told me repeatedly that she only cares about herself and her fitness business called Drumba. And so she doesn't care about anyone else and what they're doing, and she doesn't give a shit. And that's just really sad because you should, care about other people. And she would always tell me growing up, "You're so sensitive," which just blows my mind because I'm a very sensitive, empathic person, but she's not empathic, so she doesn't care to hurt your feelings because she's a bully. So she just literally says things like that to you. Every time, if I said I was allergic to peanut butter or something was wrong medically with my back, I have back issues, and she would just act and say things like nothing's wrong with you, or just literally make me feel like I'm just making it up or I'm lying or something. And she would just act like there's nothing, there's no way anything is wrong with me, which is just ridiculous because I would know something's wrong with me and she would just deny that. And every time I tried to have my mom help me with having a relationship with my father, or every time that I would tell her "Hey, can you help me talk to my dad, or can you I really really need a relationship with my father, why can't you help me?" She would always say, "I told you to leave that man alone." And she just is no help and she doesn't care, and she just would always say there's nothing she can do, and that's just bullshit because there's so much that she could do. She's my mom, and so she just completely gave up on this entire family. And then she would always tell me that my stepmom's a snake and just say really crazy things. And I'm not saying my stepmom is good because I don't think she is good. I think she's just with my dad for his money because he's a doctor. And it's she has not been a stepmom to me, and nor has she been there for me. So it's she, every time I go to her to try to talk to her about my dad or get help, she would just act whatever, I can't help you with that. She would just be no help. And so that was very damaging. And that was it's very upsetting because I really needed I needed people to help me in my life, and I just keep feeling nobody was there to help me, which is just ridiculous. And then when I felt I was going to like kill myself. Like I kind of felt like, because like I was really under a lot of pressure and stress. Like I was going to school, and I was taking like 4 or 5 classes at once per semester, and I was under just a lot of anxiety, and just I was very alone in that part of my life. And so I just felt like I was going to snap, because like I didn't have like family there to like be there for me and help me. So like they would just act like I would just have to fend for myself, and like they just really put me in a situation where I didn't feel motivated, or I didn't have the love and the support that I needed. And like when I got discharged from the hospital, the people kept telling them, my parents and me, that I needed to be at home with my parents, and I needed to be with family, and I needed to be with someone that was going to care for me and be there for me. And they didn't care, like, at all. And the first thing my dad said is, "You can kill yourself, I don't care." That's literally what he said. And then, like, again, I hadn't done anything wrong. Like, I was trying to like do all the right things, but like I just was struggling, and I was having a really hard time with just trying to do everything. And then he, and then when I saw him again, he was like, "How dare you embarrass me in front of my work colleagues?" Like, that's all he cared about. And, he's a doctor, and he just thinks like prestige and money and work, that's all that matters. And like, image and status, that's like both my parents, like, because they're class grade A narcissists. Like, that's all they care about is like what they have and what they look like. So they don't care about like the feelings and emotions. They don't care. Like, they just think you're weak if you're not strong and you feel something, or you need help, or you show a sign of weakness. Like, you're a terrible person. Like, something's wrong with you. And like, nothing's wrong with me, but that's just like what they perceive, because they want to act like they're perfect and nothing's wrong with them. And like, if God forbid, if I'm struggling or something's wrong with me, like, that is just like, normal stuff. Like, they don't want to act like they don't want to be there to help me, which is just ridiculous. Another thing that my dad told me, like, because I kept asking my dad, I kept saying like, "Hey, like, I would really like to know my family and the roots, and like, family structure and stuff like that. Like, I'd really like to know like more information on your dad and mom." And like, he kept saying to me, "If you bring up, my mom, and I'd be like, but she's my grandma, like, because she's your mom, so she's my grandma, so why can't I bring her up? Why can't I ask you questions? Why is that such a crime or a sin, or why is that such a bad thing?" He would say he would kill me, like, if I brought it up, which is ridiculous, and I don't understand why he would do that. I mean, I was innocent. I just wanted to know information. I wasn't like being pushy or like asking any crazy questions. I was just asking him like, "Hey dad, like, I would really like to know more about my grandma, like, on your mom." And like, he would just freak out and be like, "If you ask anything about her, like, I'll kill you. Like, don't ever ask me again." And it's like, what the fuck happened? Like, what's the story behind all that? Like, I don't understand like why he like flips out and acts like that's such a bad thing if I ask questions, which is ridiculous. And I think I've said this in my other video, but he's always told me like all he cares about is money and work. That's all that matters. And that's really sad, because like there should be other things that matter, like love and feelings and emotions, and again, relationship. And every time he's denied me of having relationship. Both my parents have, and I have tried to have a relationship with them, but after how dirty my mom's treated me and how she's poisoned everyone's minds against me in the family, it's like, well, I'm not going to sit there and keep defending myself if they're going to keep invalidating me and gaslighting me and telling me I'm wrong and I'm bad when I didn't do anything, and they don't even want to listen to my side of the story, and they just want to judge me with no justice. It's ridiculous. Like, then I'm not going to deal with them, because this is like insane. So then another crazy thing, because I was telling my dad like what I really wanted, because he's told me things like join the military or you're fucked in life. Like, that was another crazy thing. Like, this was before, because I told him I wasn't really like interested in college, even though I went to college under the pretense that I would gain me a relationship with my father, because that's what he wanted me to do. So I thought like, oh, if I go to school and I get good grades, like, it'll show him that I'm, I gain his love and his respect and his admiration, and then he would like want to have something to do with me. Well, that I was so naive and gullible and stupid and dumb to think that, because it didn't get me anywhere near that. I was more of an artsy types of person. Like I liked cosmetology. I wanted to do that, like hair and nails and skin. I was more into like the touch and feel of things. I wasn't very like bookworm, even though like I've grown into that after completing my 4-year degree and getting a bachelor's degree. But it's just like, that's not really who I was. Like I'm more of like artistic person. Like I just like, you know, colorful stuff, and like I like fashion and just like, things like that. And my dad just always looked down on that. Like that's blue collar work, like that's nothing, like just makes you feel like piece of crap because you're not like a doctor or a CEO or a surgeon or something like in high status. Like, oh, you're not, like, which is ridiculous, which is why like this whole society is so sick and toxic, because like it just doesn't make any sense. Like that's not what should matter in this world. And the fact that that's what matters and that's what people value is like money and what you have and like what you make and the degrees and the plaques on the wall, like it's just insane. Like people's priorities are all messed up, and you wonder why people are so unhappy and depressed and miserable. Like, well, I wonder why. Like I'm sure my dad's not very happy, even though he acts like he is, but again, like whatever, it's just beyond me. Him telling me things like figure it out and make it happen and you're on your own, and leaving me out in the cold like that is just like really messed up, because like I needed his love and I needed a relationship and I needed him to be there for me. And he's also told me, like, he's like, I'm only going to send you money on Christmas and birthdays, even though like that's not what I want. Like I don't care about his money. Like just because he's a doctor and he has money and he can give me money, like I don't care. But then now like Christmas came, the last Christmas that we had, and I didn't get anything and he didn't even say anything. And I'm like done trying to talk to him. I'm done trying to reach out. Like I've been going no contact for a year with all of them. I've been done trying to explain myself and get them to see me, like, cause they just refuse to see me and hear me. And it's just sick and it's pathetic and it's gross. And I'm just done with it. So I've literally walked all away, because if they want to think that I'm a bad person or I did something wrong when I didn't, like, then screw them. Now, the last thing that my dad told me, which is just very, very damaging, because ever since I've been a little girl, I've always wanted to be a mother and a wife. And like, that's something that I always want to do. And the fact that my dad, like, once, like, all he cares about is for me to make money, and that's it. Like, even though I've had plenty of jobs and I've worked tons of things, and like, but that's not what I value. I value having family. And the fact that I come from such a broken, dysfunctional family that is toxic and narcissistic and just like completely non-functional, it's the fact that like family's so important to me, and I want to have that because I've never had it. So, which would make sense, right? So one thing is I told my dad, I want to get married, I want to have kids, like, I'm really happy and I'm really excited about that. And one of the most, like, this really hurt me, like, but he said that if I got married, that he wouldn't deal with me, because if you get a divorce, I have to take care of you. Now, mind you, he doesn't even deal with me now, and he doesn't even take care of me now, and he doesn't even like pay for anything, and I don't even ask him for anything. Like, I've been on my own. Like, I don't even ask him for a mere, like, he doesn't even pay like anything, like not even a cell phone bill, like nothing. I don't even ask him to like send me like money a month if I'm short or something. Like I don't even like deal with him. And the fact that he would say something so awful and cruel like that, like that's just ridiculous. Like, cause if like I would never even ask, even if I was going to get a divorce, like, even though I don't believe in divorce. So, like, I'm going to make sure if I got married, like, I would never get divorced. But the fact that, like, he said that if I got married, that, like, he wouldn't deal with me because if I get a divorce, he has to take care of me. Like, that's insane. Like, I don't know what's wrong with him, and I don't know where his mind is at. But, like, as a father, you shouldn't even say something like that to your daughter. Like, as a father, you should be, like, wanting your daughter to get married and have her own family, and that's healthy. So I don't know what's wrong with him, and I don't know what's wrong with his head, and I don't know why he's so, like, maybe because of his own life, and maybe because my mom was so horrible to him, or like maybe he really didn't care about family, or maybe he didn't really like care about kids, and maybe he thought he wanted kids and then he didn't. I don't know, but like to put that on me and to make me feel like I should never get married and I should never have happiness and have kids and have a family, it was just sick beyond words. I don't even like, that was like the most, like, I think like, it was like after he said that, I was just like, hey, you know what? I'm not even gonna do this anymore. Like, this is pointless. Like, because it doesn't matter what I do, nothing's ever gonna be good enough. And like, I could go and be a CEO of a company and it's not going to matter. Like, it's, you know, that's not in the cards for me. And that's not something I want to do anyway, because I don't value that. And I value having a family like one day. So I don't value, like, I'm not a man either. But he would always compare himself to me, saying like, when I was your age, I would have to this and that. It's like, but dad, you're a man. Like, I'm a woman. Like, I don't need to do those things, or it's not the same set of like things. Like, I don't know. Like, his thinking is just insane. Like, and when I tried to join the military, they laughed at me because of how short I was. And like, I had back problems. And like, it's just crazy because like the fact that like, I've just never had supportive parents who've like ever wanted, like, I feel who wants me to win or be successful or be happy in life. They just keep putting me down, putting me down. And like, that's exactly what that psychic said. Like, they just keep putting me down, putting me down, putting me down. And they're just projecting their crap onto me. And I'm just quite frankly sick of it. So that's why these things that I listed, that both my mom and my dad have said that have damaged my mental health and have just made me feel so done in life and want to just give up and like, there's no point. Like, this is why I don't deal with them. And it's for good reason, because I'm telling you, if anyone ever said anything like these things to anyone, I would say don't deal with them ever again. Like, just cut them out of your life, because like, you need to save your sanity and peace, and you don't deserve that. And you deserve so much better as a human being to have love in your life, not feel like you're fucking like just destroyed because that person's destroyed. Like, it just tells more about the fact that they are so messed up, the fact that they want to act like that, and the fact that they don't ever want to admit or take responsibility or accountability for anything that they've ever said or done to me is beyond me. Like, and they don't even want to go to therapy and heal. It's just crazy to me. So I just wanted to make that video really fast, because like, those things, like, I needed to vent that, because I don't know, maybe you guys, I don't know if anyone on this, you know, this channel who's hearing me has ever had parents or other family members say things like that. But whenever I've tried to say these things, that these horrible things that my parents have said to me, like to my aunt or to like my uncle or, you know, a cousin, they don't listen to me. They just ignore me. It just falls on deaf ears. Like, they act like I'm not alive or I don't exist. And it's just really hurtful that, like, you know, born into such a horrible family, I feel so foreign to the family that I was born into. I feel like a complete alien. Like, I don't even feel like I'm like a part of them, like, even though they're blood. But it's like, I don't even care, because like, they're not family, and they're not, like, I don't need those people in my life. So I don't know, like, if you guys have ever had anyone in your life like that has said horrible things like that, or even said even worse things than this, but just these things that I stated in this video that my parents said to me, I think that was pretty darn bad. So I don't know, like, maybe you guys can top that, but I just had to like say that, because that's just been heavy on my mind. And it just, you know, like, words kill and words hurt, and when people say things, like, it sticks with you. And I know, like, you know, it's more like, you know, words shouldn't hurt you like that, but it does. Like, it's so damaging and so destructive, and the fact that it's so scarring, and it just keeps the wounds there, and it's hard to get out of my head. Like, I know that I'm not any of that, and I know that, you know, again, they are the ones that are messed up, not me. Like, because I would never say anything like that to my child. If I had kids, I would never say anything crazy like this. I would never, like, ever in a million years, like, ever, like, that's just beyond me. That just shows how much of a great person I am and how different I am versus my parents. So, you know, like, I like that. I mean, even though it's been horrible what I've been through, it's also been like good awakening to know that, like, oh, you know, like, you see the difference. Like, you see how you know, how a person is good and how what they should say, and like a person when they're bad and what they do say. And you know, I don't advise anyone to ever tell them to kill themselves. They don't care. And that's a very damaging thing, especially when they've struggled with depression and anxiety and mental health problems. Like, yeah, so then they know that, like, and they don't care. Like, they purposely, like, my mom like kept me out like didn't even want me to live back at home to like have any help, even though like I didn't want to, but I was willing to like put all that aside, go to therapy with her, and but she didn't even want to admit what she's done. So it's like I can't even trust her when she betrayed me, robbed, stole from me, tricked me, set me up, turned me against other people in the family, like lied on me. I can't even trust this lady. I mean, she assaulted me and then tried to say I assaulted her. Like, it's just ridiculous. So when like your parent just clearly, I don't know what the problem is. Like, I don't know what, because they don't even like deal with me. And it's like, I don't even want to deal with them and I don't care. It's just like, it's crazy that they think that that's going to get them anything. Like, that's just going to get me to walk away, which I've done. I've cut them out of my life. Like, they are just like this rotten, horrid tumor that I just am trying to cut out of my life. And it's been hard because like my mom has been paying the phone in the car, and I've been afraid to like speak up or speak out, but I don't care anymore because it's just been going on for too many years. And at this point, like my dad doesn't do a damn thing for me. So like, I don't even care. Like, I mean, and I'm not even going to say anything because he's a hypocrite and a liar to sit there and be like, I'm only going to send you money on your Christmas and birthday. But then he doesn't even send me anything on Christmas. So yeah, and he doesn't even say anything. Like, he just completely just ignores. So like, that doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, like I don't know. It's just like crazy. So I think that I don't know, it's all baffling at this point, and it's really funny to like see how like I wouldn't advise, like, if you have a healthy parent, like, again, I've said this in my other video, you're blessed, like, that's awesome. Like, I wish that I had good parents in my life. I wish I had supportive, loving parents that, I mean, because I wish that I could, have that mentorship and that, type of just connection and bond and attachment. They just robbed me and just took from me, and I didn't even get a chance. And it's just disgusting. And I just wanted to list those things and say that because I think that you guys, there's people that have said they liked my other videos, and so if it's helping you guys, like, that's awesome. And I think it's really great to be able to connect on a bigger scale and feel that I'm not alone in this. So like, I don't know, like, it's just, it's I hope that no one has a parent like this, because this is like awful. And I could understand, like, if I had done something horrible and so bad, like, yeah, even if, like, because I've had people say, like, even if you don't do something bad or something like that, like, parents should never say that to you. But the fact that, like, it's the fact that, like, if I had done something, it would make sense why your parent would act so awful to you. But I did not do anything other than just not do what they wanted me to do, which was like, I don't know, like, I don't even know what that is, because I've done all the right things. Like, I've gone to college, I've worked several different jobs, like, I've been living on my own. Like, I don't know, like, I've been trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay stuff. Like, I'm not like depending on them or like relying on them heavily. Like, I'm trying to do good things, but it's like never enough. And it's like, I need to know that I'm always been enough and I'm always enough, and they're not enough, and screw them for trying to make me feel never enough or never good enough. Like, it's just all about them and what they do. It's like their way or the highway, and that's really destructive, and it's not good to raise kids like that. And so I don't know, I just wanted to hopefully you guys like this. I'll be back making more content, so hope everyone has a nice rest of their night. All right, bye.